in the hallway that wants to come in? Are we good? Okay. You guys okay? Okay, good afternoon. My name is Kelly Jamison. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Dona County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to introduce to you a panel of speakers we're going to have for you this morning at today's press conference. Afterwards, I'll wrap it up and take a few questions. Understand that this is an ongoing investigation, so we're limited to what we can give to you today. To my right is Major Brent Barlow, Detective Ken Roberts, District Attorney Mark D'Antonio, Cynthia Clark from the District Attorney's Office, Captain Michael Kinney from the Dona County Sheriff's Office, and Lieutenant Bobby Holden from the Dona County Sheriff's Office. Opening with remarks today is Major Brent Barlow.
Good afternoon, everybody. Approximately 2.5 weeks ago, information was brought to the attention of the Dona County Sheriff's Department that led us to believe that criminal acts were occurring within the Dona County Clerk's Office and were being perpetrated by Clerk's Office personnel. As a result of this information, Sheriff Behill and his staff ordered that a criminal investigation commence. During the course of our investigation, evidence was obtained that linked this case to an ongoing federal investigation. And once we learned of this information, we reached out to that particular federal agency and informed them of our ongoing investigation as well. On Friday evening of last week, a search warrant was executed at a residence in the southern part of Dona County, which involved Dassel Patrol personnel, members of our Criminal Investigations Division, members of the Dona County Las Cruces Metro Narcotics Task Force, investigators from the 3rd Judicial District Attorney's Office and U.S. Treasury's Office, as well as HSI. During that particular warrant service, 4 individuals were arrested on charges relating to that case. This morning, members of the Dona County Sheriff's Department, including our Detectives Bureau and patrol personnel, arrested 3 employees within the clerk's office on charges related to this ongoing investigation. In closing, Sheriff Behill has made it very clear with these arrests that if public corruption cases such as this are brought to the attention of the Sheriff's Department, we will investigate those cases with all the resources that we can bring to bear, and that we will cooperate fully with any federal or state prosecutor's office and to ensure that these personnel are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I will now turn this podium over to Detective Ken Roberts, who is the lead investigator on this agency, or on this case for our agency.
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Roberts, and I am a detective with the Dona County Sheriff's Department. As the Major said, approximately 2.5 weeks ago, I was specifically assigned to investigate allegations of criminal activity which either initiated within the clerk's office or were brought inward to the clerk's office. Upon gaining the information, a thorough investigation commenced, utilizing all of our resources to include the 3rd Judicial District Attorney's Office, Metro Narcotics, any and all resources available to Dona County Sheriff's Department. As evidence presented itself, we became aware that there was a nexus in reference to U.S. Treasury. I contacted the United States Attorney's Office. We were granted a meeting with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and U.S. Treasury was brought in to assist. During review of all of the evidence that had been collected, it was presented that this particular information that we had tied to a nexus of a investigation that they were currently involved in. And at that point in time, they offered to join us jointly with their resources. Pulling all the resources from the U.S. Attorney's Office, United States Treasury Department, Dona County Sheriff's Department, the District Attorney's Office, the investigation proceeded forward. When sufficient evidence was presented, search warrants were presented to the district court. Those search warrants were granted in a joint multi-jurisdictional operation on Friday in Anthony, New Mexico. Those search warrants were served. Evidence was acquired through those search warrants, and 4 arrests were made. Upon completing the operation, additional information and evidence was acquired, which resulted in and led to this morning's portion of the operation where 3 additional personnel from the clerk's office were detained, interviewed, and taken into custody. I would like to say that The individuals who we currently have in custody are those that are the specific target. There's been all kinds of things that have come to my attention, and I will tell you that this is an ongoing investigation, and any further information that would be released towards additional personnel will come at a later time. The county clerk and assistant clerk have been more than generous in allowing us access and giving us their full cooperation this morning in all aspects, and I thank them for their presence of mind and their assistance in this. I would also like to thank the U.S. Attorney's Office, U.S. Treasury Department, Metro Narcotics, the 3rd Judicial District Attorney's Office, and all the personnel that assisted me and that will be assisting me as this investigation goes forward. I would like to now introduce to you the District Attorney, and whose help by assigning his Deputy District Attorney, Cynthia Clark, has assisted me greatly in bringing this before you today. Mark D'Antoni.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What is significant about this case is that it's one of the largest investigations in the Southwest and maybe the country involving white-collar crime and theft of identities, which is an important issue that's facing all of us every day we read about it in the paper. This investigation is the first case involving the white-collar task force. This force was created by Sheriff Vigil and myself in order to combat the rising white-collar crime and political corruption we're seeing in Dona County. The sheriff and I agree that the time has come to take a more aggressive stance on white-collar crime and on public corruption. These types of investigations become more in the future, and we're going to really concentrate on that as one of our goals. Make Dona County the safest place it can be, because in fact, justice does matter. I want to commend the hard work of Sheriff Vigil and the Sheriff's Department, especially Ken Roberts, the lead investigator. Also, I'd like to commend my Chief Deputy, Cynthia Clark, for the hard work she did to this case. In addition, the assistants of the United States Attorney's Office and the Treasury Department were invaluable in this investigation. I want to remind the press and the public that this is a current investigation, and the people who were arrested are presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Thank you, folks. It's my pleasure to reintroduce to you Ms. Clarkson of the Sheriff's Department. James, I'm sorry.
Kelly Clarkson. Thank you all for voting for me. Again, I just want to reiterate that this is an ongoing open investigation. We're very limited as to what information that we can release to you as of right now. I'm working on a press release that will include the names of the people that we have just mentioned, as well as mugshots as soon as they're available. I'm hesitant to ask if you have questions, because I probably can answer them. Lauren?
Can you, I guess it'll be the press release, what are the charges?
Well, they vary depending on,
Is there a range?
there's a range. I can tell you that they range from fraud, conspiracy, and identity theft.
Can there be more arrests, or these are the only three people that are going to arrest?
At this point, I can't answer that question. Again, it's an ongoing investigation. As this develops, I would certainly have more information to you if it pertains to that.
Kelly, I know you said the charges range, but do you have an idea of what punishment years that they could serve?
No, that would be a question for the district attorney's office, not to put back to them, but those punishments range, again, based on a number of different factors at that level.
They were informed 2 weeks ago about what was happening. How long has it been going on?
When you say they, you're talking about,
What was going on?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. They ambiguously means the county clerk's office?
The county clerk's office, or the investigators were informed, is it 2.5 weeks ago? 2.5 weeks ago?
This case was brought to us several weeks ago. We briefed County Clerk Lynn Elms this morning on what was going to be happening as of 8 o'clock this morning.
Do you know how long the fraud had been going on, or the?
No, as of right now, we are unsure what that specific timeline is. That's part of our investigation right now.
Kelly, is it fair to say that identities of Dona County residents were compromised?
I can't answer that question right now. We certainly hope that that's not true, but that's one of the answers we have to be learning here in the next few days. It's a priority, certainly, in this investigation. I'm not going to be on American Idol anymore.
How many of the arrested?
I'm just going to wrap it up with that.
Sorry, how many of the arrested people posted bond, or are they all in custody still?
That will be dependent on arraignment, and I don't know at what level we're at over at the detention center.
Can someone talk about, a little bit more about the largest investigation of this kind of Southwest, maybe the district attorney? Are you talking of this type of
Identity theft investigation? I think,
Well-
go ahead.
When I speak the largest, I'm talking about the amount of accounts and the players and unique circumstances of this case. It is a significant investigation. Okay. Now, I'm not calling this the biggest or the most extensive, but for our community and for the surrounding community, it's fairly significant. And it does compare with other investigations, like investigations throughout the country. Thank you.
I think it's certainly, an investigation of this magnitude isn't anything that any of us in the department right now remember in this industry.
Kelly, you may have missed this, but the 4 that were arrested Friday, are they Dona County Clerk employees, or they work in another office?
There's one that is not a Dona County Clerk employee, and that information will be included in the press release that's forthcoming.
So 6 were and 1 wasn't?
Correct.
One was of the 4.
One was of the 4 that were arrested Friday. Do I have that correct now?
That's correct.
So 4 were and 3 weren't?
Out of the 7.
Correct.
Yeah.
Out of the
4
Out of
are.
the 7.
Out of the 7, okay.
Yes.
How does this relate within that, it relates to what, how does that relate to what is?
We're still trying to figure out what the relationship is with that individual. We know that that's where they were coming from at this point. So I can't answer specifically what that relationship is or how far deep that it goes back.
This may be part of that same question, but were, of the 7, were any not U.S. citizens, or I mentioned Mexican national?
I do not know the answer to that right now.
How did this come about to your attention? Was it someone within that brought it, or?
I can't answer that question either. That's what we would refer to as sensitive information in the course of investigation.
Can elaborate some businesses, not Republic, sometimes they're involved in this type of scheme.
Are you asking if businesses
Yeah, like
were the
not
target of
public,
identity
yes.
theft? We don't have any information right now to suggest that businesses were a target of that, of any type of identity theft. Anything else? I appreciate everybody being here. If you receive this media advisory, then that means you're on my distribution list, which means you'll receive the press release as well as any mugshots that I can release to you up to this point. I appreciate you being here, and if you have any further questions, you all have my phone numbers. I can be contacted anytime. I can answer what I can. Thanks so much for being here.